Okay, we are back for the Simul. Yeah, there is a lot of commentary. I was actually extremely surprised. There is commentary in channels in French, in Spanish, in Deutsch, in Polish, in Espanol. Like a lot of chess channels covering the candidates. Nice. And of course, there is also Chess 24, which is covered by the legendary Peter Leko, as well as the youngsters like Naroditsky and Tanya Sachdev. Yeah. Also, apparently, Peter Leko wasn't feeling that well recently, so I appreciate if you guys also walk to the channel and wish him well. Alright. But let's go and do the Simul. While in between the games, we can occasionally look at the candidates and the games. But I like to do the recaps mostly, and the recaps will be ready tomorrow for this round. Right now it looks like a very quiet round. Really quiet. So expecting some draws. Again, yeah, because there was no rest day today, it was my mistake. For some reason I thought it was rest day, so I apologize, I mixed it up. And Jan demonstrates another level of preparation again. And Vidit, as you can see, is running a time difference of 47 minutes, with Jan being in his prep. And we see the game going to this endgame, which is pretty famous. Pretty famous, and one of the most famous things about this endgame is usually the knights are traded for the knight and dark squared bishop. And then there is very famous opposite color bishop endgame where white runs the h pawn and black tries to stop it. So let's see if black can avoid it. So far, black seems to be holding. He took away all the critical squares from which white knight can attack this bishop. It's very important that this bishop remains alive. Of course, white can always try to sneak the knight to f4. Also, this knight goes to f6 to stop h5, so this pawn remains a weakness. But black, he can go like king b7, knight c6, bishop e7, rook d8, and with the king with b7, potentially these pawns can start going. And this is very double-edged position, actually. I do suspect that Nepo figured it out in his prep, and there is some way for white to put pressure on black. And I suppose knight f6, h5, and g5 is one of the ways. Because if you don't trade, then white trades the bishop. And again, this h pawn with the knight on f6 will be a big problem. But if you trade, then the knight takes and hits the bishop. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see this. I'm a big fan of the Berlin endgames. Okay. Is there... Wait, did I turn on my stream? Yeah, the stream is on, right? Yeah, okay. All right. So, the brief look of the Nakamura game is that this is pretty safe for black. And I would say that Prague demonstrates, really pragmatic approach. Black just goes very solid. He beat Vidit yesterday with some ultra sharp stuff, but he was in danger of losing if Vidit found one move. But today it's an ultra solid draw. And out of two black games, Prague would score really well, 1.5 points, which is really fantastic result for the candidates. And Naka doesn't have any advantage at all. The only possible plan of action he had was to play knight h4 and try to find some exchange sack, positional exchange sack, followed by some pressure on the king side. But the way things are going, I don't see anything happening because d4 always runs into b4. And the knight just came from b1. I expected knight on d2. So again, Naka just had this kind of really weird light prep for this tournament. Really weird approach, to be honest. Then again, he said he's not a professional player anymore. He is a professional streamer. But, you know, if he plays like this, he might lose actually some rating points in this tournament. Rating points kind of important. All right. b5 is not so good. Well, 5b is extremely good in these positions, close positions. He is great in Italian. He is great in Spanish. Again, 5b is a very tough customer. He is tough for everybody. Yeah, he's one of the best players on the planet. And again, as mentioned by many, he is the prime candidate to win this tournament overall. Okay. So it's gonna be really tough for anybody to, you know, when 5b is playing, trying to win, and does his best, it's very hard for anybody to play, to toe the line, yeah, to play on the equal footing with him. So, but okay, Gukish, you know, he's doing his best. b5 is actually a pretty standard move for such positions. Black wants to make sure this knight is unassailable, because this knight is very important, protects the pawn, hits the center, does a lot of things. Because there are no light squared bishops, and Black is trying to keep his position very solid. Yeah, the computer says it's advantage white, but if you can see the line which leads to advantage, it's absolutely nuts. It means something like, yeah, knight f5 is an obvious move, right? Standard Spanish stuff. But then there's this follow-up with the bishop h6, queen d2, queen h6, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's pretty standard again. Pretty standard for Spanish, yeah, with the knight on f5, which is why sometimes Black even returns the bishop to f8 in these positions, because that bishop is protecting the king side. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this line. Take, queen d7. It feels like normal pretty line. The idea is that if you take on h6 now and queen c1, Black has this thing, which I still don't think is enough. You just don't have to take the bishop, right? It's not checkers, and you still need to protect against this thing. So rook e6 must be played. But if you do that, this threat is renewed. Black has no time to pick up the rook. And if you play knight h7, then just, I think, oh, you have also ab, right? Right, everything is falling like dominoes. If you guys know, I lost Wesley So in the round 1 of the US Chess Championship. Yeah, something like this. He sacked the piece on h6. I was completely unprepared for it. It was probably part of his preparation. I don't know, but he played really fast, and yeah, he won that game. It was pretty lousy feeling to lose to a prep, but you know, nothing you can do. So after knight f5, 5e has great advantage. Pretty sure that's what he's gonna play. Yeah, knight f5. He's probably just calculating if this is really gonna work. So the only other thing I can think of is knight e7, but then you can just take the pawn or play knight h4. Which one is better? No idea. Take. This way white wins the pawn, but it's double pawn and there is no attack anymore. But it's an extra pawn, yeah. So, questions? Alright, let's see. Are there any challenges for the Simul where people are... yeah, usually we do have weekly Simuls on Sundays, but probably people are watching the candidates, so I'll give them more time. Yeah, so this is the line, and of course there's also knight h4 here to renew this threat of bishop h6. Yeah, surprisingly, it seems very tough to counter. I think king h7 is a reasonable way to do this, because if you take queen c1, there is now knight g8, yeah? And the idea is to play knight g8 and g6. That's one of the ways usually you get rid of knights like this, f4 or f5. You put king here, knight here in the back to protect these pawns, then you push this pawn forward. And then I really like this computer move, rook a3. The idea is to play c4 and join the rook into the attack. So for example, if knight g8, there's another idea. It's queen a2, double attack. That's actually very strong. And if you play bishop b6, then c4, yeah. And the idea is to close this bishop, but then a5, queen c4, queen d7, and possibly rook g3. Because black has no time for knight g8, and you don't have time for g6, so you have to play rook g8. But this is really bad position for black. Really, really bad. A lot of weaknesses white can take here. So 5e is very close to actually obtaining a winning advantage thanks to this quiet opening. And then we have this absolutely even game, and Abasov just goes for the trades. It's remarkable how from this Nimzo you get position that is actually Queen's Gambit accepted, yeah? Absolutely remarkable. Pretty sure it's part of the prep. Guys, this is bishop e7 is extremely important move. If you play passive like bishop e7, then white is better, okay? Significantly better, because white wins time to develop and put his rooks in the center and hunt this queen, which doesn't have many good squares. It's still probably equal with accurate play, but it's very unpleasant. But with bishop b7, black puts white on the defensive actually, because the threat is to take, rook c8, attack the queen, and if you take, there's this. And black is actually better developed. So bishop e5, take on b3, and black is slightly better, but I expect a draw because after bishop b2, just, you know, too much stuff is being traded. If you take, knight d5. Yeah, I actually like black's position a little bit better, because now with this pawn structure like this, king h1 must be played to put this rook to work. And then this file, yeah, it's a little bit double-edged. It looks a little bit double-edged. But of course black doesn't have to do that. Yeah, bishop b2, you can just perfectly play bishop d5 and take this pawn, complete equality, or queen d5. Of course the question is, like, Alireza doesn't really want a draw, yeah? When he's playing like the lowest rated guy in the field, who's supposed to be, you're supposed to be killing this guy with black and white, but this day and age, with everybody knowing theory and huge preparation, easier said than done. But queen d5, and I think it's just like the game against Nepo, right? Abasov just goes and makes a draw, pretty much. Massive trades and dead draw. So expecting dead draw here. He plays rook d1 actually first. Yeah. All right. Hey, James. Lowest rated, but still very strong, of course. Nobody gets... No chess tourist gets into the candidates, man. Candidates shows, like, if you qualify for the candidates, you show that you're a real deal. Hey, Andromeda. All right, so guys, let's start the Simul. The recap for this round today will be done tomorrow. I put the recap of round 3 on YouTube, so you can watch it. I like to put the recaps before the next round starts. But okay, I thought the rest day is today, but I was mistaken. It's tomorrow. I think Vidit really needed this rest day because he looks out prepared today, and he's struggling. But I think his endgame skills is good enough, so maybe hopefully he holds against Nepo today. Because if he loses to Nepo today, then Vidit is out of the candidates race. Yeah. And he started so strong. He won the game, but yesterday he lost, and if he loses today, then his psyche is gonna take a huge hit. Alright. So guys, let's start the Simul. I don't want to finish it too late. Let's see if there are challenges. Hey Sanvino, Texas, what's up guys? Let's go. I mean, if you want to watch the candidates, there are so many esteemed colleagues commentating it with fantastic quality stuff. So, but Simul, still important. You can watch stuff, but you should also do stuff. And you get Simuls only once a week, so use the opportunity. Besides, there was no Simul last week because I played in the Grenke tournament. So, yeah. All right. Games open. All right. There you go. Name zone. So what did Alireza play? Oh, he played d6, but not in this position. Yeah. Bishop d2 here. Not so sure, but okay. A5. All right, James. Glad you like the analytics from me on the candidates. Hope that was helpful. I'm actually was very curious about Anod and Crush team. I mean, I've never seen a team like this. It seemed like Irina, she took over the commentary, yeah? Yeah, Irina can do that thing to you. Yeah, she's really, really aggressive. And the way she plays chess is exactly the same. And her personality is pushing boundaries, yeah? And I'm looking at their team. It's fantastic. Rishi is I think he accepted this, accepted her leadership, and yeah, it's fun. And of course, the analysis, the quality is great. So I highly recommend you guys to watch official FIDE commentary with legendary Vishy Anand, and I forgot how many times Irina is the US Chess Women's Champion, but she is already legendary women's champion at this point. All right, do we have more challenges? Texas, are you gonna join the Simul? Oh yeah, we got it. All right, wait, not 7 days, not 14 days, nope. This is a Simul, gentlemen. Hey Manish, what's up? Thanks. Great, let's go. I'm just so disappointed with Nakamura's prep, man. So disappointed. He had a real chance to qualify for the match and do the serious competition for Fabiano in this event. But he chose to, I don't know what happened. Must be this personal decision, yeah. But he had a really good chance this year. He's not gonna get this chance again, because there are a lot of kids are coming up next, and he's gonna get older. So this was his really big chance to qualify for the World Chess Championship match. I mean, all he had to do was prepare for this tournament. The incentive is there. If he qualifies for the World Chess Championship and he beats Ding, you know what that means? He's gonna throw that challenge to the old Sauron man that he did like 10 years ago. Remember, he said he's the only guy who can stop Sauron of chess, which is Magnus Carlsen. But he would be in much stronger negotiating position to do that if he had won the candidates and then won the World Chess Championship match. That would be like billions of dollars in the match versus Carlsen, man. I'm so sad, man. Because I don't see he's got any chances of winning the candidates. Especially after his loss yesterday. No, the day before, yeah. Missed opportunities, man. Sometimes, these missed opportunities, they don't exactly strike you in the present moment, but like later you realize, this moment that you missed. All right, Magical, let's go. All right, Magical, let's do the Dutch once more again. I hope you analyzed your game from last Simul. You came up with some great idea. Yeah, this is what Naka played against me sometimes. But apparently this is like the best setup by Black. You disconnect the central pawns and you hit this guy before White can protect it with everything. So this looks pretty good. А мне шоколадку тоже дашь немножко, солнышко мое? Пожалуйста. И шоколадка. Yeah, guys, I'm getting chocolates. Alright, more challenges. Where is everybody? Guys, I went to the tournament, missed one Simul and... Oh my god. Okay. Спасибо, солнышко. Alright. Rook e1, queen c7, yeah? Gotta hit those pawns. Yeah, there was this pretty famous game where Naka prepared this line for Magnus. And it was a rapid game or something. And actually, Naka got an advantage, but then for some reason he didn't go for the most sharp line and Magnus escaped with a draw. But, it was a great game. So if you guys get a chance, try to look at that game. Very educational. All right, what we got? We got 4 games in progress. Okay, not bad. Not bad. All right. Queen e2. Yeah. Okay. So this is the kind of the key moment. Yeah. This is the kind of key moment. How is Black going to continue to play this? Different ideas come to mind. Knight c5 is one of them. Bishop c5, bishop e7. Because White wants to play d4, obviously, yeah? Oh yeah, there was this idea. Right. Big question, will it work? Okay, let's find out, okay? g5, pretty famous idea. I actually should have played it without playing queen c7 then. All right, let me show it to you. Instead of playing queen c7, I could have played g5 here immediately because the queen here on d8 is actually better placed, okay? With the queen on c7, kind of unsure, but this g5 is pretty famous. It's also famous in French, but because this is almost like French, that's why it's relevant to this game. And the whole point, if White tries to, like, Black is trying to open White king, and then he wants to escape the king to the queen side, and then, you know, use this position. So again, very interesting fighting line, Mr. Andromeda. Let's see. All right, Texas, you're playing whites. Amazing. Usually you play black, then run all that stuff, yeah? Okay, show me what you do against Caro. By the way, guys, Caro is doing pretty well lately, apparently. In the lines where the center opens, the line where black plays knight f6 and recaptures with the e pawn. So those structures appear to be really good for black. Like right now, it seems like the only problems for black is if you play Caro is advanced line, yeah. Queen e2, you're stopping my knight f6, okay, but the queen here is, man, is like, you know what, I'm gonna play this move. Bishop to g4. Mr. Rubato, why would you allow me to play f3? f3 is a move that white plays pretty much himself anyway, but now you give me tempo. Okay, then we go into this reverse King's Indian, yeah. Reverse King's Indian. Okay. G3, knight c6. Okay. So I'm thinking, maybe I should try playing this g5 idea, yeah? I mean, King's Indian with reverse colors, you know, the white now, it's considered to be absolutely mandatory for white to play this g4. Plan if he wants to get an advantage. So I'm thinking if I can do something very similar with black here. Yeah. Usually I just play old school stuff like, you know, bishop e3, etc., etc. Okay, so wait, if I play g4 here and go for the English attack. This is considered to be sort of English attack. After Nigel Short popularized this f3 g4 queen d2 long castle plan in his games in the 80s. Thank you for subscribing, Mr. James Kepler. Arsenal fan Rich is not too late to join, but you lost your star, man. You need that star. Yes, Mr. James Kepler, you can join the Simul. Feel free to challenge. You know the time controls, right? So Arsenal, get that star, man. Yeah. All right, thank you. Renewal, great, got it. Yeah, this is a Simul, man. Yes, Mr. James Kepler, if you want to join the Simul, you can join the Simul. The time controls are 60-60 or Bishop f4. Yeah, this is very interesting move. Or 45-45 if you like. Oh, somebody's playing Dutch against me. Okay. Yeah, then I recommend this line. Although main line with g3, g6 Leningrad is also pretty good these days. You bought Nations Chessable course on this? Nations got a Dutch defense course on Chessable? Oh my god. Nice. We play a lot of same openings with this guy, yeah? He plays Sicilian Khan just like me and also Dutch, yeah? But compared to me, he writes books on this and makes money. Smart guy. He was rooting for me to beat Magnus. And I was rooting for Naka to in these candidates, man. Yeah. But I'm like really disappointed. Very sad. Because I thought, Naka really had a chance in this candidates. But I don't know what happened. He probably didn't believe in himself, Sometimes that's what actually stops people. You don't believe in yourself. Alright, so White is playing this interesting line. Can't say I've seen this before. Looks very interesting. Also, I suspect he wants to castle and play 3-4 here. So I'm gonna try to do something absolutely weird. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna try to confuse the Mr. Doctor. Guys, you get the reference, right, to Doctor Strange? Remember there was this scene where he's talking to Caecilius, yeah, for the first time, and just before they fight, yeah. And then Caecilius says, "And you are?" "I'm Doctor Strange." Okay, and the guy says, like, okay, you're allowed to be strange, right? Everybody can be strange, but there was like the whole wordplay on that. Oh, absolutely great. Loved it. Okay, so typically knight goes to b3. 97, if you don't... Yeah, usually black tries to get the bishop on e6 first and then 97, okay? It's just the way things usually go. I don't know if it's good, but okay. It's just the procedure. Yeah, and what they do here is... What they did against me is to play this move. Oh, bishop h3, Texas speed. I like this idea. That's pretty bloody cool, actually. Trading this bishop right away. But where is this knight going? You usually play knight c3 with g4 in advanced variation. There's the card, but they burn too much time OTB in that line, so we've been playing this Vagnsev line because it's easy to play. Yeah, it's easy to play, but if you want to win some games, you gotta study theory, right? Play main lines, pretty much. That's what you gotta do, man. Because I don't think white has advantage here, and OTB is gonna be very hard to win this. On the other hand, if you prepare a line really well, you know all the tricks in the middle game. Yeah, why not? Why not? Sure, man. Okay, so castles. The whole idea of this line is for white to provoke d5 into the stone wall, and then we play the stone wall. Like c4 stuff, yeah. Very safe for white. Yeah, I really hate it when people play like this against me. Right, if you want, you can take this guy. I don't mind. I wanted to play actually this weird move. Alright, bishop to b7. You're preparing some kind of aggression, I guess, here. Who's Mr. Janus 34? Can you request a Sicilian game with whites? You bought Rustam's Alapin course. Who is Rustam? Alright, Janus. You need to put increment, man. I need increment. Okay, can you redo the challenge? 60 minutes and 60-second increment. Thank you. Mr. Flomka, who is Rustam? Oh, Kazimjanov. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Challenge him. You want Sicilian, yeah? Okay, fine. Yeah, Lapin is doing pretty well these days. Yep. Rustam is very, very knowledgeable. He spent many years working with Fabiano. So he knows his stuff. One of the great theoreticians also. All right, let's go. I need to make 2 moves versus this guy. All right, let's play d5, yeah. All right, a3. Which means you're not gonna castle queenside anymore. Okay, that's the whole point of b5. I want to make sure he doesn't castle here, because with a3 move, castling here now is gonna be suicide. Yeah. So now that being ruled out, he's gonna castle here, which means it's gonna be a quiet game. Now I can think how to, make this into a quiet game progress now. Yeah. Playing d5 will be like a real stonewall, which is actually not a bad idea, I think. Considering the knight is gonna on f3, the chance of him playing f3 is like minimal. So d5 and building full stone wall here sounds actually pretty good. But I kind of like also d6, keeping my options open to play e5, fight for the center, a6, maybe c5. I mean, d5 is probably the best move, or knight e4 actually. But okay, let's go fight this d6. So the knight goes back, which means that I win a tempo. I can castle here if I want to. I can also go for f5. I can also play g6, bishop g7. And because the light squares here are kind of good for me. But if I put the bishop here, it's kind of dumb bishop, yeah. But it happens a lot in the Queen's Indian structure, because then you're gonna go for f5 and like it's a huge battle. But you really need the knight on d6, and I think I'm behind. So I'm just gonna play bishop d6. Put the bishop on a nice spot. a6. But why would you allow me to play knight d5 here? Alright, whatever is the case, let's test it. So knight c6. Mr. Janice, you still didn't do the increment, man. Hey Flyer, what's up? Do you know how to do the increments? Okay, you go into custom. There is the timer, more time controls, and when you see here 60 minutes and then 60 seconds, okay? So put 60 here and put 60 here, or 45 if you want a little bit faster game. I don't do 30, okay? It's just too fast for the Simul. Alright. Bishop e3. Now I gotta take this thing. So 92. Yeah, there's several ways to play this. e6 is how I usually play. I don't play this line a lot with black, but it's okay, I guess. So I don't see any mates, so I'm gonna take here. Now black usually goes queen d6, but that usually happens bishop on g4. I'm not sure. The queen with bishop on c8, maybe I should go back to d8, actually. Or go bishop b4, go hanging pawn formation. Because with the bishop on a3, I think I win a tempo, maybe even. Or not. I don't know. Okay, let's go bishop b4. Centralize the horse. Now, thanks to a6, this is becoming a small problem for black. You know what? Okay, fine. Let's just do the game. Castle. Right, Mr. Janus, your move. I understand you don't know how to. Okay. Yeah, probably a terrible connection or something. Okay. Yeah, there was like huge analysis here, remember? A4 is reasonable. Reasonable. Okay, 97 anyway. I'm a firm believer in knights supporting each other. Alright, let's go c4. So you see, if your bishop was on e6, then it would not be so easy to play c4. Yeah, I would have to prepare it. Okay. Yeah, it's not like a big problem for black. I think this position is quite playable. It's only slightly better for white, maybe, but it's very playable by black. Fine. No increment. You calculate 95 g h5 rook g8 d4. What is that line? That line sounds crazy, Andromeda. That line sounds absolutely crazy, and I don't like. I don't like f6 there. Also, if you take on d5, why have you considered queen e7? Because I attack your queen and I attack your knight, and you cannot take on e6, right? So that line looks wrong. After queen e7, I think black is just completely winning. Because you have to move your queen, I take the knight on g5, bishop d7, long castle, I have extra piece and fantastic position. So, yeah, so knight takes e5 is possible, but I thought you're just gonna do something else. I'm pretty sure there was something else there for white, but okay, I don't know what. I'll be honest, I don't exactly know what I was gonna play there. All right, let's go e5. Standard d4. Do I want to castle here? It's definitely a possibility now that your king is open, I can actually castle here, man. Bishop to d6 or e7. d6 is fine. Oh yeah, you're gonna go for this Tivikov line, yeah? Yeah, Tivik used to play this a lot. I'm just curious, can I play g3 in this position? And like put my bishop on this diagonal first. Probably not a great, not the best idea, but very interesting one. So bishop b6, queen g5. I don't want to give it this pawn, so queen d2. Bishop here. Yeah, Andromeda, you need to work on your calculation, man. Candidate moves. Code of book, remember? Practice stuff. Calculation is critical skill. Especially if your tournament is coming soon, you need to be able to calculate well, especially in those positions which are not familiar to you. Yeah, calculation is going to save you so many times and allow you to win so many games, just like endgame skill. Absolutely critical. So candidate moves and etc. etc. This move I don't like. It's playable, but after d5, that knight will have to go. Yeah. Okay, rook takes, obviously. I don't think you should have taken on e5, Mr. Arsenal Fanrici, and definitely don't go into the endgame. My king is open, man. Why would you want to go into the endgame? You're giving me an advantage. No reason. All right, f4 looks excellent, but I kind of wanted to play bishop f4 actually, and go for this because the endgame here is absolutely fantastic for black. I have center. Your pawns on the light squares, the color of your bishop. I have very strong control with the center. You just gave me the center with this trade. Absolutely great position for black here. Yeah, I think you should play c4 and go for the standard d5 prep. Do you want to play rook b5? Looks kind of weird. Maybe it works. I don't know. I really doubt it works though. And you know what? You just can take this guy here. That's the whole point. In Grunfeld, it's considered if this bishop is close, it's good that to trade this guy. These knights are not really solid here on these squares. I can chase them eventually, and black will be stuck with some holes in the position. That's why I like this line for white. Okay. When chess players say they don't like an opponent's moves, they just voicing their opinion with regards to the position. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that probably the person is sincere and he decides to share with you what he thinks about the game. That's pretty much it. All right, rook b5. Okay, so you're really trying to get this rook there. Interesting. All right, so usually this queen goes to d7. d6 is also an option, but I kind of don't like to run to 95, which is probably not going to be a problem. So queen d6 is a real option. I really like it, but I think queen d7 is better for some reason. So I'm going to play this. Bishop g4 allows me to play this move and play on this knight. Yeah. See, you're doing the piece development, which in general is good, but you're neglecting central pawns, yeah, and space that these central pawns provide. Like you see this central pawn that I have, it takes away squares from your minor pieces. It also gives my pieces some good squares in the center. These pawns are blocking your bishop. So bishop g4 I don't think was a good move, man. I wanted to actually develop my queen because now my king has an option of going long side. Alright, so let's grab this guy. Which guy? Yeah, sometimes maybe knight c5 is good, but I want to develop the bishop, so knight d5. Alright, so what is this position? What is this position? Pretty sure this position is very good for me, especially after 94. I think I win a piece, yeah. Rook g5, my god. Is this rook really going to g3 later? Man, look at this aggression. I'm actually impressed. This does look pretty good for white, yeah? Pretty impressive, actually. Yeah, that's why I didn't like queen on g7. Because if I put the knight here, the knight gets a tempo. Also, potentially there is queen d2, rook sack, bishop h6, queen g5 stuff. So I gotta watch out for that too. Yeah, this is starting to look very dangerous for me. I think I need to really lock this bishop, play g6 actually. Alright, with knight on b5 I can just go off back. You decline the trade, I understand. Do I want to chase this guy? Probably not yet. Rook c1, but then that means bishop goes to e6. So I need to get rid of this guy. I need to get rid of this guy, and I need to sort of create some pressure on your queen side, I guess. So queen b3 looks very, very reasonable for all these reasons. Queen f4 looks wrong for tactical reasons. Yeah, it doesn't look correct at all, but okay, we'll see. So rook g8, bishop e7, bishop d6, bishop d7, a lot of moves. And bishop d7, knight f7, obviously. There's also f5 move, which is very interesting. But the most obvious move, of course, is bishop d6, yeah? The most obvious. Okay, let's play it, yeah? Okay, so f6. b5 stops bishop b6, okay, good. Potentially he wants to play a5 maybe. So rook g1, let's prepare the defense for this guy. I played g5 a little bit early and he gets this nice outpost, but let's see if that's gonna help him. Actually, you know what I could have done? I could have done c4, which is pretty standard stuff to develop the bishop to this diagonal. Queen b6. Okay, that's a good move. I like this move. That's a good move. Yeah, so the big question, if I allow this trade, what is that? Then your pieces are kind of good. I really want to keep the queens on board because the endgame is like black is definitely okay, I think. But bishops. Okay, 1 second. Солнышко, все окей? One moment. All right. Okay. So queen b6. Well, okay, since I love the endgames, I cannot refuse this invitation, yeah, obviously. So e6. You want to give me another pawn? Sounds very good. Sounds very, very good. So I will probably accept your offer. The only thing is I really want to finish my development here, yeah? That's the only thing that is stopping me. Also, if I take here, then he takes on d5. I take on d5, there's rook c8. And a lot of things are going on which I don't really want to happen. And I want my king to be safe. Safety is paramount. It's of paramount importance. Okay, so if I want my king safe, let's do this very simple thing, yeah? Let's play this. And let's do that. Okay. Alright, so the knight is potentially going to g5, f2. He wants to prepare e4. I can play bishop e6, bishop here, but I kind of want to keep this bishop on this diagonal. Although, is it necessary? Nope. Let's develop, yeah? Finish the development. h4. Just trying to get this. My knight on f6 is kind of, yeah, this queen on d7 is not what I want, yeah? Okay, I think this is very interesting. Probably white has advantage. Actually, is looking at it and I'm thinking like white's starting to get really big advantage now, yeah? Because this is starting to look pretty scary. Pretty scary for black. If he gets h5 and opens my king, those bishops, rook and knight and queen coming. This is very scary stuff. So how I'm gonna deal with this? I need to trade this rook or to chase it somehow. Easier said than done, yeah. Easier said than done, man. Alright, let's try it, yeah. Also the Luft for the king. Grab this. Rook g8. Okay. Rook to c1. Alright, what am I missing? Yeah, it's absolutely interesting. Hey, Mr. Bursmith, how are you, man? Alright, so, and let's just be safe, yeah? Play castle. Let's just play safe. I have extra piece. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep the extra piece, man. Bishop to g8. It's one move attack and I can also push this guy back. But bishop here is also not bad because now after a5, b4, potentially this bishop will help me to attack the king. Magical intuition. Your endgame is already worse, I think. So bishop f8 was correct, but taking on a5, releasing the tension, I think was wrong idea, okay? Alright, so let's move the bishop out of the way, protect the king. Now I'm ready to move the knight. And after I finish the development, extra piece, white will be much, much better. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Cool. Thank you for joining, people. Bishop d2. Is white going to castle here? No. Okay, so let's go g5, yeah. So take on a4. If you have material advantage, one of the best ways to convert that advantage is to start trading, right? Like be a daytime trader, man. Finish the development. Knight goes to c3. Because the less pieces there are, the easier it is to convert. Your goal is to convert to the full endgame, where there's only this extra piece and pawns left. Just make sure you keep some pawns on, because if you don't have pawns left, then just draw. All right. Okay. Right. So traditionally this knight goes to a6 and then to c7, but you can also put this knight on d7. So he's trying to hold on to this guy to prevent me from expanding further. Like that, he wants to play a4, keep this guy here. That's actually very interesting. You know what? Let's check it. Okay, let's check how strong is your e4. Looks correct. So the big question is now, should I play f4 or not? Yeah. Should I play f4 or not? You know what? I'll play f4 here. So. All right. So bishop to c6, queen d7. Which ones? Probably bishop c6. Then he is going some b3. Also a4 is very, very interesting actually. He gets a blockade on the b4 square though. That's the only thing that kind of is annoying. But if I allow him to play a4, then we might run into bigger problems. Though I wanted to test exactly how big are these problems, yeah. Alright, so let's test them. Queen to7, knight to c3. Bishop c6, probably. Or knight a6. Big questions, yeah. Bishop c6 runs into b3. That's the only thing I don't like. That's the only thing I don't like. Yeah, he runs into this. He creates a blockade and disconnects my pawns. I hate when that happens. I really hate when disconnection happens in my pawn structure. So what are we gonna do? Well, sometimes you can't do anything. You just gotta go with the flow, yeah? Sometimes nothing can be done. So that means I was wrong about this idea, and you know, I probably should have kept the tension, not play c4, finish the development first, centralize the rooks, and then make a decision what to do with my pawns, yeah? I mean, on the other hand, he was ready to go b3. Okay, I still think like white's advantage is minimal here, not that much. Because I do get nice square as well. So that compensates in a little way. Hey, did queen a7 work in the game against Janice after the long castle? Here? Okay, let me check. Yep, queen a7 absolutely worked, man. Yep. Queen a7. He'll be forced to play bishop e7, yeah, check, knight b8, advantage for sure, yeah. So you probably take on d7, king d7, queen b7. Yeah, it's also advantage, but it's not winning immediately, okay? This is a very safe way to play. This is the guaranteed way to win, okay? Let's put it this way. This, the way I play, is guaranteed to win. Queen a7, when your king is and knight is not developed. I don't like, you know, playing when my pieces are not fully developed. I like to play when my pieces are fully developed, and then I like to, you know, go active and etc. etc. Attacking with just one piece while the rest of the pieces are stuck in the original places is possible. Alekhine did it. A lot of players did it, but it's just your personal preference, man. Alright. Why isn't Dillman in Toronto serving as a second? I'm not sure actually where Mr. Dillman is. Alright, so this is the position which is where I wanted to play this. D4. What? But Andromeda, you're blundering stuff. Do you see it? Alright, yeah. Okay, Arsenal Fanrici. Pretty good job. Black is extremely solid, I agree. Very, very solid position for white, for black. Your knight on e4 especially very strong. So my knight on e2 doesn't do much. Yep, I agree. So probably I have to start playing knight c3 stuff, yeah? That's why I played rook c1. And let's hope I don't blunder anything. I have a feeling I'm blundering something. Like knight e3 or something. That's why you have the bishop on h6, right? So you can hit this stuff. So before I blunder stuff, let's play h4. It's a Luft, but it's also a defense, yeah? Alright, queen f2. The next move is probably knight b6. Probably. Well. Okay. Centralize. Centralize. If you don't know what to do, centralize your pieces. Always a good idea. a5, okay. And I was actually thinking, can I play knight c1, e2, g3? This long maneuver, but I get rid of this guy. Yeah, because he also wants to play a4. The other idea is to play queen f2. Okay, queen f2 and just go prepare bishop b6. Which will be extremely annoying. It might be actually good, but then the knight goes to d2. But, although I don't like this d2 square for knight. I think knight is like absolutely ridiculous there. Yeah, he also wants to play a4 maybe at some point. Yeah, very interesting actually. Yeah, the Sicilians are like hard to play. Yeah, Sicilians are very, very hard to play. You have to feel all those nuances really well. I really wanted to castle long side, but yeah, maybe not rook g1. I should have castled rook king b1, then knight c1, and then probably it's better for white. But okay, let's play this idea. Yeah, take. Well, if you give me a pawn, I'll take it. You okay? Yeah, Andromeda. I highly recommend you to pick the lines where you develop your pieces first, and then you go in all this sharp stuff. Okay, I really dislike positions where my piece is not developed. Okay, because then you have to be extremely accurate So try to pick lines where you have normal development. Once you're a grandmaster, you know all the tricks, then you can play around with stuff like this, okay? But before that, just play correct chess. We call it correct chess. All right. B3, grab. The idea was to play rook d5 here. You have your rook, I have my rook. Grab more pawns. B3, knight b4, or bishop b4. I think knight b4 is fine. Ah, wait, rook c7. Yeah, I'm blundering. Okay, let's not blunder. Yeah, let's try not to blunder stuff. Also, knight e4 is not bad in some lines here. Okay, rook c8 runs into knight a7 maybe. Or not. Also, bishop c6 is possible, yeah. Because maybe I want to take actually and get the extra pass pawn. Yeah, this is actually complicated. This is actually complicated. Alright, I like bishop c6. My bishop is kind of dumb. So let's play that. Okay. So you want to trade stuff probably, yeah? Is that what you want? Also you want to play rook d6, but you want to trade one pair of rooks. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Pretty good idea. What can I do? Okay, let's get rid of this knight first. Ask questions later. Trade the queens. Okay, so the big question is now where the knight goes. c5, b6, yeah? Big question. Probably knight c5 is best. Also, you have some tricks here, which I don't really... not really eager to see these tricks. Yeah, maybe you're okay, actually, yeah? Maybe you're okay. Okay, meaning... You know, I have an idea. I want to play knight b6 still. Knight e5. So let's grab this. And play knight to h7, yeah? And the big question is, what is this position? I'm not quite sure. I feel like black should have sufficient defensive resources, but again, I'm not quite sure. This is complicated. Complicated. Mr. Janice. Hope you look at the game a little bit. Just, you know, briefly look at the game, check out your most obvious mistakes, okay? And do better next time, man. All right. You want to play rook h5? But why would you want to play rook h5 if the entire point of your play is to make a play on my pawn on g6? Yeah. I can actually put the bishop here first. I like knight e2, okay. I like knight e2. And the reason I like knight e2 is that maybe I can play c4 here, because if he recaptures, I recapture with this guy, yeah? And connect my knights once again. Because if I play c4 and he doesn't take, then the queen side is being closed and I can finally castle. So, I kind of like that idea. No, that e5 pawn is actually, you don't need to protect it, because if I take it, your dark square bishop becomes like a champion of tour de force, yeah? Something like that. All right, let's go knight c3. Yeah, you're Arsenal Van Ricci, you're playing extremely well. Extremely well. So the question now is like bishop g6. Threat or not, yeah? I have a feeling rook a d8 is correct move here, but there are always doubts in your mind, yeah? Always doubts. Yeah, knight f8 is... I have big dislike to knight f8 for some reason. Because probably I hate to leave my dark squares so unprotected. Yeah, the rook on g3 also protects against the mates. Yeah, this is like clearly a situation which... Yeah, definitely rook d8, yeah. I need to start counterattacking to make white, you know, think more than just free attack. Yeah. Because if you're passively defending and doing nothing, then your opponent has free hand. But if you like create some threats here and there, he sort of gets distracted. Yeah. It's good in general. Also, I want to trade the bishops, obviously. One thing I have to, you know, to avoid is if he gets double rooks on the h file, I'm dead. Okay, I'm very dead. So I need to work against that too. Or if his queen and rook gets to the h file, I'm probably dead too. So that's the benefit of his h-pawn movement and trading here. All right. It was weird. It felt like a Zugzwang. What do you mean? Oh, no, there is no Zugzwang for sure, man. Come on. You have so many moves. So many moves, man. Yeah, but sometimes you do get this idea, yeah. Especially in positions which are closed. Every move makes a big difference, and yeah, you get the feeling like that sometimes. Yeah, I understand. Okay. So everybody is thinking, yes? Everybody is thinking, good. So while you guys thinking, let me quickly take a look at what happens. Nakamura versus Prague. You may not use analysis while playing chess. See our fair play policy. Dude, I'm doing a Simul. Doesn't matter. This is actually equal position. Here, Vidit is probably a little bit worse. Yeah, looks like white is better. But Vidit has a plan. Yeah, he can play knight b3 or knight c4 and challenge white's supremacy here, but white is actually might be serious about g6, g7 sometimes, yeah, or knight f5. And Jan has 1 hour and 9 minutes, which means he knows this endgame. Bad news for Vidit. Gukesh is in trouble. And Alreza is very drawish, but he's trying to do something against Abbasov. Actually, Abbasov, bishop alive, queen hitting something, yeah? Maybe something for Alreza. Alright. Okay. Alright, so Mr. Vino. You're doing really good. Putting pressure on my position. Doing really good, man. Yeah. And I have to try to figure out a way how to survive this with black. Yeah, I got hanging pawns, but I completely misplayed it. More viewer friendly. Mr. Random DGN, there have been many tournaments, including, I think, Pioneers at the Norwegian super event, which happens every year. I forgot what it's called. It's something Stanford, something. Where they have the scoring system where win gets 3 points, draw gets 1 point, and loss gets 0 points. So, you know, people do try different things, okay? Yeah, the organizers do try different things. And I think that system, they were pretty happy with it, and I think it remains to this day still. So I'm not sure. So knight g3 or c4, yeah. Or just castle, actually. Everything looks pretty bloody good. You know what, I'm just gonna play knight g3 here. Yeah, c4 was very strong idea. I think c4 is actually excellent idea, but I want to get rid of this guy. He is annoying. That's one of the ways to get rid of this blockader. The other way is to play f4, and then black sort of is forced to trade everything here. I think after f4, white also has an advantage. But knight g3 just looks aesthetically pleasing to me, because if he grabs, I take with the pawn, and then I can play f4. Pawns are connected, yeah. So you guys see what I've done? I spent 1, 2, 3 moves to relocate the knight, but I think it was really well spent. Thing, whatever. Right, bishop b4. I need to trade some things, yeah. Alright, let's play h5. Yeah. So, Mr. Texas Speed. The reason I don't like playing these positions as white is because it looks very passive for white, yeah. You don't have a lot of space, and black has sort of easy game. Which is why I pretty much stopped playing King's Indians. What chess books would I recommend? A lot of chess books. Some old books on calculation, new books on calculation. Always recommend doing endgame studies books. If you have some pet opening line, that's fantastic. Yeah, always study that. Yeah, books are good. In general, reading is good, man. Chess books are also good. Yeah, I thought you can just play bishop d4, man, because bishop on d4 are like untouchable. And then, as I mentioned before, then you put your guys on the h file. The way this goes, I think, like, I don't know. You sacrifice the bishop, you start the forcing lines, yeah, because you better be correct on your calculations, all right? So the question is, are your calculations correct? And I think black is absolutely okay here. All right. Except that you do have this bishop g5 maybe, yeah, at some point. Which is why I will probably have to play this. Or Hey, I can actually play rook d3 also, yeah. I can close your diagonal. The only problem, what good does it do to me? Well, actually, if you think about it, nah, it doesn't do much, yeah. But it does something. Does it? Yeah, this is actually unclear. Oh my god. Yeah, this is complicated. You need to calculate this stuff, yeah. Oh, man. In my old age, I have to calculate stuff. Here. Grab, take. The rook is very active, but okay, I do need the rook on the 7th, yeah, for sure. Take. The problem with queen g8, Mr. Arsenal Fanrich, is that he plays bishop g5. I cannot grab the bishop, and my queen on g8 takes away the only square for my king. So that bishop f6 check is just going to be absolutely murderous, okay? So, no, that was not interesting. That was suicide. Yeah, so, and now king g8 probably. Okay, because you need to avoid all the crazy things. All right, since Mr. Magical Intuition is so nice as to allow allow me to trade the rooks, I'll do that. Because if you trade both rooks, it's very likely to be a draw. But if you trade one rooks, then black has a chance to actually do something. All right, let's. Okay, he's going this way. Okay, it's a5, always useful. Knight c3, but okay, my knight on b4 is now pretty solid, yeah. So, which rook? This rook or this rook? I think it's this rook. I think it's this rook. His knight on b5 is nice, but he's disconnected from the center and from the kingside play. So I think black is fine here. Even if he gets to play e4, I think black is absolutely fine. Yeah, it's okay. Ask questions, fine, man. You should ask questions for sure. Okay. All right. So bishop e6. One of the things I mentioned recently in my stream, you gotta play slowly. You gotta have patience to play endgames, to slowly improve your position, step by step. If Gukish did that, he would have actually had big chance of beating Nepo yesterday. And then he wouldn't have this problem with Fabi today. Because the rule in chess usually is if you screw up, if you miss your chance to win the game, to draw the game, then usually the wheel of fortune, it turns and you get punished, okay, for missing your chance. That sort of thing. It's like huge superstitious stuff, okay, let's put it this way. It's huge superstitious stuff in chess world. All right, so he's ready to go e4, e5, yeah? Ready for action. Okay, what is this position? Yeah, I think if he gets e4, e5, actually, then white is better, yeah? That's definitely a possibility. So what can I do? Pretty big question. What can one do? And the response is, the big problem is the knight on f6, yeah? It doesn't do much. It no longer actually helps with e4. So the candidate's moves are either you put the knight on h5 and you run into g3, or you play something like rook e7 and then bring the knight and trade this guy, because this guy is very, very strong. Then if you trade this guy, white has this plan to develop the initiative here, yeah? So it's kind of quite a dilemma, yeah? Kind of quite a dilemma. Yeah, I kind of want this knight on h5, to be honest. Kind of want this knight on h5. G2. 4, e4. Alright, let's do it, knight h5. My gut tells me that I have to play this move. So let's follow what my gut says, okay? Alright, he is going for this. So if I do this, this. Yeah, probably have to take this guy. a4, okay. Okay, let's play a4. f7 looks good. No, king f7 is wrong. Mr. Arsenal von Ricci, you blundering. Maybe. Ah, okay, you're not blundering. Alright, so it is possible. I just thought that if I take knight d2, you play knight d3, then you cannot protect this pawn, but you attack my bishop, obviously, yeah? But is it still good for you? I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's okay, but it's not the fantastic choice. Made of plastic. It's fantastic. Is it fantastic? Hard to say. Alright, so maybe just rook d1, yeah? Maintain the... I feel like knight e4, knight d2 is correct, because black is going to have 3 pawn islands in the endgame, which should be good for white. Should be good. Okay, I trust you and I play rook d1. I trust you, man. So, knight fd7 probably, yeah? Bishop g4, we are happy to trade the bishop or play f5. But I think trading the bishop is the correct choice. Because look at black's development on the king side here. It doesn't look very impressive. Yeah, you need to calculate this stuff, man. You always need to calculate, especially when there is some trades, lines, forced lines you need to calculate. Trusting intuition is good, but calculation is required to approve the intuition. In the old times, this was paraphrased as strategy first and tactics second, and tactics support the strategy. Yeah. These days, it's all interconnected. Sometimes it's tactics first and strategy second. Yeah, modern chess is absolutely crazy, thanks to the ancients. Thanks to the ancients. But you see what I'm doing, right? I improve my pawn structure. I am trading pieces. I'm preparing castle, and black is like, is still underdeveloped. I traded all of his active pieces. Wait, what is bishop h4? What is bishop h4, man? Why would you allow my rook to go to g7? You are now putting yourself in the defensive situation, man. I have extra piece, and now I have an initiative. Yeah, I expected bishop f6 there, okay? That's what I expected. I'll just be honest about it. Alright, start pushing. Again, play slowly. Slowly improve position. Very slowly. It's like, guys, remember, like, you're trying to talk kids into eating stuff, yeah? It's like, this spoon is for the mother, then it's for the father, then it's for the brother, yeah? Sister, mother, etc., etc. So, it's like one spoon at a time. Although it doesn't work. I remember, you know, there was this crazy stuff, yeah, with the kids, they have no power. So the only time they can show that they displeasure or something with you is they're gonna say they're gonna refuse the food, okay? That's the only way they could show their discontent, yeah? And I remember I was discontent with my father always. So every day he would go with me to this cafe in Russia, and he would try to feed me. And every day I would give him, he called them concerts. Yeah, like I would not accept the food. And the thing was, like, he tried this thing, yeah? He says, just, eat this 5 spoons, and then, okay, you're free to go. And then he says, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. And I was like, what 2? I was like 2 years old, but he taught me how to count. And I said, it's not 2. After 4 is 5. It's the last spoon, man. And then he like always was telling me the stories. Like I said, like I can count 2. This little kid, yeah, this little miniature kid. He said, I can count 2, man. All right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, guys, okay, you have to understand, right? Once I survive the opening against you, you are in for a lot of work in the middle game and especially in the end game. Yeah, because these are my favorite parts of the game. I love chess, I love playing middle games and end games which are playable. Yeah, because there's so many ideas always in the brain. Yeah, so many plans to test, so many ideas to test. All right. So yes, I was thinking about the g4 f5. I thought it was very interesting for black. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, he's got bishop g5 potentially. This pawn structure kind of sucks. Yeah. So I'm having second thoughts about this experiment. Let's call it this way. But overall, I think my position should be okay still. Yeah. All right, so let's get this rook out. Or maybe I should take on e4 first anyway, yeah? Serious questions, I don't know. Some serious questions. All right, fine, let's play rook f8. Actually, this rook might be useful in e to protect this guy. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Fine, let's play rook f8. I have a feeling it should be this rook here and this rook here. It's always the biggest problem in chess, like where to put which rook. Alright, Mr. Arsenal Van Ricci decides to play rook d8, so if I take, knight d2, you have knight d3, right? Knight d4, you must grab the bishop, take, and then... Am I just a pawn up? Wait, you just give me a pawn? Why? Why are you being so generous? This is a different position, man. You don't recapture your pawn back. That's the whole point. I mean, I can play a3, play safe, but okay, let's go, yeah? King h2 is wrong. I think you had to play g4 here, man. I thought g4 was the move. The reason I say that is because now I have the opportunity to get my queen here. f4. Okay, that some reason didn't enter my mind, but of course it makes a lot of sense, yeah. Alright, but still, yeah, queen c6 anyway. It's time to be active. Yeah, queen a5, absolutely. So queen c4 or castle, or actually king f2. King is very safe on the king side, by the way. Very, very safe. But I really like to long castle here, because there's no sacrifices, man. Okay, let's do the long castle. Wait, you're going full fallback defense? No. Come on, man. You're not serious. You're going too passive, man. This can't be right. This can't be right, dude. Impossible for it to be correct. I mean, it's not bad, but surely you have better moves than that. It's playable though. Okay. I dig it. I dig that. This probably means that you just want safe draw or something, yeah? Okay. Bishop g5. Alright, so we're reaching this position, which is absolutely critical, yeah? This is a critical position to understanding what's going on here. So what is going on here? Yeah. Well. Yeah, this looks kind of weird, but probably in a good way. Yeah. So, Mr. Texas, have you calculated everything? All right, let's go then. Let's check your calculation. Rook to f3. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a very interesting line, yeah. So you take, rook g3, rook g7, take, bishop f6, and looks like a draw, yeah. All right, I will double check my defenses. Second rook goes to the 7th in that case. All right, let's play f5. Grab. Then definitely rook goes back. Very interesting. Yeah, probably correct play by white, yeah? You need to be aggressive. Yeah. The best defense is a good offense. We heard that many times, yeah? Alright. Wait, you took with the pawn. I thought your whole idea was to take with the queen and then challenge this pawn structure and then get the central... Dude, you're making it way easy on me. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now what? Yeah. Now the easiest thing to do would be probably just play knight a5 and trade this guy. Yeah. This guy is like the power horse of white's position. Although, to be honest, I was thinking about a6, b5, just completely get him out. The problem is, after I take, he plays knight a3, and then I have some problems defending this pawn, but his knight will be on the outside. So, yeah, either a6, b5 or knight a5. These are the main two moves I'm looking at. Because that knight on h2 is pretty sad, man. Pretty sad. On the other hand, if I play knight a5, could be b3, grab, and he takes with this pawn, tries to, and then he gets the square for his knight, which is not actually clear how the knight gets there from h2, but still, yeah. And also, if he takes with this pawn, then right, will not be able to break through on the queen side. But right now, he wants to trade everything and sort of knight to d2 and queen here, and just be very, very solid about it. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, looks okay. So even if I get this knight on a3, if my knight has to go to a7, that's actually not good. I don't think that's good. But it's not bad either. Okay. I'll play a6. I'll play a6, okay. Fine. Wait, you just give me the pawn? Alright, I'll take it. Well, obviously this. Alright, so bishop d4, knight c2, yeah? ed4, you cement, and you're here. Okay, so obviously you must take with the rook then, yeah? Pretty obvious. Now, each trade is going to bring me closer to perfection. You get pawn back? How? How do you get pawn back? You guys see how useful this move was? A luft, so he cannot take this guy, yeah? So guys, always think about back ranks when you have rooks and potentially open files. It might come useful. Okay, king b1. Get safe, prepare the rook, yeah? Especially that his knight and bishop are interconnected. My God. Full defense, yeah? Full defense. Full defense mode, man. Not bad. Not bad. Right, we continue our offense, yeah? h5. Keep the pressure. Bishop takes. And rook c1, right? Or rook d1, actually. Which one? Which one it's gonna be? It's gonna be rook c1, yeah? Okay, but bishop g5 is now a small concession. A small concession. Why exactly I cannot take the bishop 2 times? Is there some mate I'm missing? I don't see mate. Rook f8, king f8, rook h8, rook g8, right? No mate. Rook g6, rook g6, queen g6, rook g7. Again, no mate. The only problem is that my king kind of gets really open. Really open. That is a cause for concern. I do have another move. I have a very simple move like queen c5 check, forcing his rook on f3 to get into the uncomfortable bound position on f2, right? That should not be very comfortable. Because then I take on c5, take on e5, yeah, central pawn, absolutely vital. And your rook is on f2, you can't attack. So I think both knight g5, rook g5, and queen c5 now, they look both good. So let's do it. I kind of go for queen c5, personal preference, yeah. All right, rook e6, let's be aggressive. So, Mr. Arsenal van Ricci, he is gladly giving me another pawn. Let's take it. Wait, why are you playing knight f1? Why not rook f1, man? Dude. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna play knight g6 here. It's kind of ugly move, but I think that my knight is better than your bishop. I think your bishop on g5 is not that good at all. Alright, bishop here. Alright, let's grab this guy. And we need to make some threats, yeah, at some point. I'll have to start creating some threats. So, there's several ways. Knight here, or knight f6 and g4. Okay, let's go knight f6 and g4. Pretty normal procedure, yeah. Knight a7. Probably played with the idea of playing knight b5. Probably. So I can just grab this knight and eliminate any of these checks. And then I'll be stuck with this beautiful, gorgeous knight on d5. Or I can just go rook c1, yeah. Even if you play knight b5, knight a3 is not a threat. I don't see it as a threat, man. Doesn't look like one. And of course there's also queen c4. Queen c4. Wait, I can also... I don't want to take your bishop. Your bishop is lousy. Bishop is very bad. Yeah, a lot of possibilities, yeah. A lot of possibilities. I kind of like queen c4, to be honest. So let's do that. g6 looks very solid. b5 or knight b4 first, actually, yeah. Very interesting. Knight b4 first runs into a5, knight b3, so b5 must be played. You go after this pawn. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay, protect, yeah. Wait. Yeah, okay, b3 is played good. Right, which game ended? This game ended? Okay. Alright, in this game, your position was probably winning circa here. See the eval? Oh my god. The eval is white is completely winning. +1, almost completely winning. I don't understand why rook e5 is okay. And I told you about bishop d4, right? That's what you should have played. See, my knight is out of the game, man. With the bishop on d4, you lock both of my rooks out, and then you just improve your position. And this guy's like the worst knight in the world. Just play positionally, man. After this, you see black is immediately better. So just king g8 is correct, and bishop f6, but okay, here it doesn't matter, yeah? Black is already winning. So, rook b5 was good, but the piece sack, not that great. So bishop b2. What happens if I attack the bishop, by the way? g4. Ooh. g4. Okay, this is serious. This is serious. Yeah, I thought g4 is impossible. Huh. I thought g4 was impossible. But like Hella said, darling, you have no idea what's possible, yeah? Darling is the key word. I'm just joking. Well, it's nice to be darling, no? It's nice to be darling, I suppose. So, Mr. Sanvino, have you calculated everything? The usual question I ask, yeah? Alright, let's see it. Ah, wait, I don't have tempo. I lack the tempo. That's the problem, yeah? Okay, I see. I don't have the tempo. Oh, man, that sucks. Well, okay, let's see it anyway. Let's see it anyway. Alright, 93. Now this question, how I protect the pawn. Is it knight b4, is it knight a5, yeah? Okay. Because it appears he's gonna play knight b3, try to hit this guy, and if I play knight b5 some point in the future, the knight will be hit, and you don't want to be hit. You don't want to be hit for sure. I'm the guardian of tomorrow. Nope. Interesting, yeah? Very interesting position. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like knight b4 is the correct way anyway to play this. So I'm gonna play knight b4. But that's more intuition talking. Maybe intuition is wrong in this case. Yeah, maybe knight b4, because then knight b3, bishop d2. It's such a mess, man. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy how messy things can get. Oof. On the other hand, even if you take the knight on b4, it's like cb4, yeah. So probably you have to play c3 actually, and then c4. So c4 is your idea, yeah. c4. All right. Chess is hard. Chess is very hard. Fine, knight a5. All right. Hey, Tirma, what's up? Sure. Is f5 wrong here? Where? Andromeda, which game? Bishop g6 was winning after d5? It's possible. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your position is like close to winning. In regardless, yeah. So okay, what is this? Probably a4, yeah. King d7 doesn't seem right. It can't be right, man. There's no fucking way this is right. You know what, I'm just gonna take this bishop and open your king. Alright, knight goes to c4. And magical intuition, you should not allow that. You know why? Because now your knight on c3 is in big trouble. In Little China. Okay, maybe not in China. In big trouble anyway. I'm trying to confirm with my calculation, but okay, my calculation says that maybe you're okay. Which is kind of weird. It should not be. This should not work actually. Alright, so fine, let's... Okay, fine, 93. Right. So you get my bishop here. So the question is, what is this? My God, guys, you're giving me a hard time. Tough. Also, bishop controls this square. I need to be careful so I don't get mated, yeah? Okay, let's play B. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. B4, knight B4. Then I have F4, yeah? So that works. Rook F1, challenging for the file. Very logical. Okay. I like bishop to D6. Let's grab this pawn. And we've reached this critical position. All right, so what is this? And the usual question I have here is, yeah, doesn't work, yeah. Okay. Alright, what is this? I have 2 pawns, I have potential attack. The key word is potential. What else I have? Pretty much nothing else, yeah. Pretty much nothing else. So, you know what my idea was in this position? My idea was to play this move. And a grandiose plan. And he is trying to get very active. Interesting. But what happens if I just take this thing and sort of play on this weakness? Surely that's an idea. And another possibility is just to play rook g8 and trade the queens. Third possibility to play rook a3. That's the only move. And then work around that. That doesn't seem like much, yeah. He's got everything protected. Yeah. I don't have much, I admit it. I admit it, not much for black here. Bishop c7, okay. If I play b5, I still don't have a Luft. That is concerning. It is actually concerning. Yeah, that's actually That is actually a problem. That is actually a problem. All right. All right, Mr. Arsenal fan reaching good defense, man. Good defense. I feel like I must play, yeah, b5, rook c4. My bishop is really in danger. I guess we'll have to play 4 against 3, yeah? All right, let's do that. Check. Rook f1. Okay, queen g5 looks normal. Rook f5. Very interesting, because my pawn is here, yeah, that makes sense, of course. That makes sense. Yeah, the knight on g6 should be here somewhere. I agree. I agree. You guys are very, very strong, man. Very strong. Oh la la. Ouch. 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 Alright, let's get king to safety. Let's try to Let's try to trade. Grab f1. Very logical. Now I have to cut with rook f6 also, in addition to everything else. Yeah, this knight on g6 is terrible. Okay, knight on g6 was a very bad idea. It's a very bad idea. Right, let's protect. But then he wins the file, yeah. Man. Wow. I'm still gonna play this probably. Because I need to get my queen free from defending this pawn. Yeah, 5 was very possible, Andromeda. Yeah, 5 is definitely a possibility. Andromeda, that's a very interesting question. I'll tell you honestly, I have no idea. It's a great question though, I like it. Good question. No clue. Oh man. They're very funny though. Wow, white is kicking ass. Alright, let's keep pushing pawns, yeah? And let's hit the king! Let's create counter threats, so he doesn't have time for knight a3. Well, has to worry about this guy. I guess it has to do like with concrete meaning. Like what can have multiple meanings. Здесь is like only one meaning. And тут also has several meanings, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of... I'm not the specialist in the languages. You'll have to ask my wife about this. But queen b3 I don't like. I thought you're gonna play d5, bishop d5, knight c3. Okay, and then you win, yeah? With queen b3 you're giving me a chance for some reason. Which I appreciate, of course. Which I appreciate. So let me play this. Alright, Mr. Rubato, thank you for the game. You did not survive the opening today, but otherwise it was a good game. Alright, now I have to watch out for all these tricks with knight c4, of course. Yeah, this knight on g6 is really bad, man. Very, very bad. Yeah, knight on g6 is my pain. And the worst thing, I cannot bring him back to e7. That is the worst thing. I cannot take on f5 because that pawn and knight goes to e4. Jesus. which means I probably have to play bishop e7, yeah. Bishop e7, then we play f3. Start pushing these guys. Mr. Vino, you're giving me a little bit too much, I think, yeah? You're giving me a little bit too much, man. Which I appreciate, of course. Alright, so let's start bringing the king. You know where the king goes? This king goes here. Let's see how far he can go. Queen f1. The famous Alekhine gun situation. And the threat is bishop e7 and rook f6 some point, yeah? So I need to bring this knight back. Finally. h6 stops knight g5, okay. Makes sense. And yeah, let's play e5. We get very famous 4 versus 3, although it's a little bit different here because the pawns are not connected, yeah. So it's a little bit different situation here. It's a little bit different situation. Also, if he takes, I have a chance to play some other move, yeah. Alright, so I kind of like my knight, so I'll keep him. This knight can go to h4. This is a very bad move because I have a check. Yeah, Mr. Vino, you just completely ruined your position in 3 moves, man. You were winning here, okay? See, either knight c3 or d5. You need to open the position. You have a lot of pieces. The whole point is that you attack this guy and then you threaten to pin, and you're also threatening to take this pawn, okay? Oh, the computer says I have fg4. Why? Oh, rook f3. Okay, I forgot about this. Oh, rook f3. Oh, okay, that wins, yeah. So, and if you take, then you cannot take with the queen because of check you lose the rook. You played this, check, king h1. Yeah, I was trying to get something like this. That's what I was trying to get. Okay, so I was not entirely wrong, yeah? This was wrong. You had to play king h1. And then I saw this move. I actually saw this move. And I thought I have compensation here. And that's about equal, yeah? So that would be logical result. Yes, Mr. Vino, you offered me a draw, but I felt like, you know, there was still a lot of play there. So I didn't feel like agreeing to a draw so early. King d1 is a very strange move. But okay. Yeah, this rook on f5 and bishop on g5. I can't get rid of this rook on f5 so easily. Especially with this knight on g6. Because if I take, the pawn takes and rook f6, yeah? Man. I can play this move. Also, queen e6 doesn't look so bad to go to a2 sometimes. Right? Yeah, queen e6 definitely looks very interesting. Mr. Magical Intuition, this is not draw. Sorry to disappoint you, man. This maybe look like a draw, but this is not a draw. I think black is much better. Or I could be wrong. But right now your pawn on f3 looks very vulnerable, to be honest. So can I try this? Or should I try bishop c4 immediately, maybe? Oh, okay, then I take this. Then it's a clear advantage for black. Clear advantage for black. Because now you got two weaknesses. King e2. Mr. Texas Speed is trying to create a strategic masterpiece. I have a vision where he goes queen a1 and knight c4. Am I far off, Mr. Texas Beats? Am I far? Am I cold? I don't know, yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Interesting, for sure. You know what? I'm gonna offer you a draw because I am not sure. I think white is better now, yeah, but I feel like my time advantage compensates for the positional. Yeah, you're better. Yeah, you are better. But okay. Oh, you're still okay here, huh? But I'm better here, yeah. So what happened? Alright, so this was the culprit. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. I needed this knight here. See, that's what the comp says. Knight b4 and then you bring down the guy to c6. Yeah. Or king b8, knight c8, I think. Because knight on d6 will be protecting the pawn and taking all these squares away. So I think king b8, knight c8 now are the most logical moves. But you have knight b3 here, yeah. So that's a small problem. Knight b4, a5. Oh, knight d6. Yeah, this is very hard, okay? It's impossible to see unless you calculate this stuff. You need like at least 15 minutes for that. Alright, not bad. So we have a couple more games here. I think you should just take the pawn, because after rook b3, I get two extra pawns, yeah? You thought you were getting crushed. Yeah. No, it's complicated, man. See, that's King's Indian, okay? White can... I overextended. And you immediately pounced on that. So, good call, man. I like that. See, I overextended. I played king side, queen side. And you found the moment, you took the f file and just used my knight on g6, yeah? Perfect moment, perfect play, man. I really like that. So, good job. You were better than, man, because you controlled the only open file, all your pieces were okay, and, you know, I like your idea to put the king on the king side, and then open the queen side and start attacking my king. So I'm pretty sure, you know, if this was a classical game, you know, white had huge chances to win this. Yeah. All right. So Mr. Arsenal Van Ricci decided to gift me a pawn. Okay, good. Accept. Accept your gifts, dude. Now I just need to trade the rooks and trade the knights. whichever one is easier, yeah. Just enough counterplay? What do you mean counterplay? You had all the counterplay you ever wanted, man. As I said, you were better at the end. But yeah, I mean, if you mean like, if you didn't have this rooks on the F file, then you would be probably worse. But I think if you just put your queen on F5, you were winning also, okay? I mean, 96-94 wins the pawn, probably is the better option, but I don't see, yeah, because if I take knight here, yeah, so probably 96 is the best option, but then he has check on d3. Yeah, okay, so let's just grab the pawn. Grab the pawn, worry about stuff later. Probably rook d3 is the easiest. Activate the pieces, trade this pawn for this pawn, and then 4 versus 2. You should have all the time attack my knight on d5 with 97, but that still leads to problems, no? It doesn't solve your problems. You're still gonna have a lot of problems, man. You're still pretty in a bad spot. Yeah, d5. And now just knight g6, yeah? Trade your good piece, and then convert the advantage. No problem. F3 is definitely very, very interesting. But go for the advanced, okay? I feel like advanced will suit perfectly your style because it's half closed position where you're good and you have enough space to operate, okay? So I think advanced Caro-Kann should be very, very good for you, and it's also just considered to be pretty good in general. Okay. All right, rook back. 85. Absolutely, Andromeda. I recommend advanced Caro for everybody. And it's also very good for understanding of strategic play. There are so many different positions which you really need to sort of, the pawn structures you really need to know. For sure. Okay, king e7. All right, how do we win this game? Yeah, good question. So I definitely need to. Okay, we can start by playing e4, I think. Yeah. We need to start pushing the pawns. That's for sure. Pushing the pawns. This knight must be on e5. That's another certainty. That is another certainty. So that means king goes here. And the knight must go here, yeah. So you see, logical stuff, yeah? Very logical. Connect the pawns, push your passers. Knights on good squares. Logical stuff. Tactics, Mr. Arsenal and Richie. Tactics. Pawn endgame is completely winning for white. Why I think so? Because of this move, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is a little bit nuanced, but I think King d5 is actually probably the best. King e5 also is okay, but I think King d5 is best. Because you still need the knight in the center, okay? That's the best location for the knight. Magically, you don't have many moves. You must take on c5 or c4, it's just game over. So that's the position. So either knight f7 after bc5, or actually knight e6, c5 is also okay, yeah? So I think both moves are fine. They should both win. Because knight on c5 takes away these squares from the king. So actually knight e6 maybe is a better move here. Not knight f7, but here. Again, with the pawns here and knight here, white cannot approach my pawns at all. And then black just improves. Black just improves. All right, important little move. Putting the pawn on the dark square outside of the reach of his bishop. Why would you give me this pawn so freely? Because my king goes back, yeah. That's an important pawn, man. All right, Arsenal. GG. We have last game. You felt so squeezed in the middle game, couldn't find a plan and didn't want to trade the queens. Yeah, that's the problem with this structure, because I recommend you to really look closely with the engine, because this actually happens a lot. Okay, this structure is very important. So if you learn how to play this, how to defend this, that would be great. That would be good for you. Because then you also learn how to play with white. Yeah, you always play with both colors, man. Cheers. Good night. By the way, thank you for subscribing, supporting. Your support is essential, especially these days. Really appreciate it. I'll briefly check the games after this. All right, so the Simul is over. Okay, let's go back to the candidates. Thank you guys for this for joining the Simul. Let's quick look at the candidates. So Naka versus Prague is a draw. Is extremely symmetrical position. Vidit is here. Vidit is completely lost. So Nepo won. Pretty much. The reason is because black cannot stop white from queening at all. Okay, bishop d7, rook d7, king d7, king f7, and queen. This rook is out. So the only thing you can do is take on a3, but then white takes here, a2, rook moves, and there is queen and mating attack. Bishop h5, rook h8, grab the bishop and queen. So it's clear queen for white. So Vidit lost this game. And I told you this endgame was very hard to play. And yeah, very hard to play. And obviously Nepo, who prepared this line, he knew how to play this. So black apparently has to play b5, b4 and try to break apart this pawn structure. Knight h4. And the other key move that's very counterintuitive is to play bishop d8 with the idea of knight e7. And if g6, then you can't do this because of this pin. And if white doesn't play g6, then you play knight e7 and knight g6, and you block this pawn formation. And if white cannot get rid of this bishop, then black is better. Okay, so that was actually Vidit's chance. Instead, he plays rook a5 and allows white to go for g6 now, yeah, because after the capture, the bishop will be hanging. So this was one of the critical first moments. This is wrong. Yeah, you gotta play c4 and start fighting for this square, yeah, counter-attacking also. Yeah, rook b3 is very strange, and g6. And white is much better because white figured out the way how to make progress here. Grab extra pawn, trade, and now this rook on b3, right? Terrible. And the pawn moves simply because this rook is out. e7. Rook d1 is not actually correct. Nepo is actually making a mistake. But should be good enough, yeah? This is not a mistake. I don't understand why Vidit didn't take on b2. That was his best chance. Pretty obvious too. He missed this idea, yeah? Oh, he missed this idea. And king f6, and wow. Yeah, okay, but rook e8 just wins, yeah? Take, bishop takes, rook moves, and queen. But taking on a3 also wins, because black cannot play bishop d7 anyway. I think bishop ba3 is actually easier. All right, and we have Gukish game. He is, oh, he managed to survive this. Wow. All right, very good chances of survival. 4 versus 3. Yeah, I think black survives this. Queen c1. Yep, queen g1 and queen c1 back with the idea of queen g5 check. White cannot make progress. Fantastic defense. This was actually a very, very important game for Gukish. Adrizai is actually pawn up. Oh my god. We got 2 queen endgames. Very rare. But compared to the Fabi game, where winning this for black for Alireza is actually more likely than winning this game for white. Yeah. All right. So this probably is a draw. This is probably a draw. We have one draw. So Yanis is on his way to make an absolute history in chess by winning 3 candidate tournaments in a row. I don't think that feat was ever done before. Guys, if you do some history, can you check? I don't think so, yeah? I remember that Korchnoi won candidates twice to force that match versus Karpov. But that was only 2 times, yeah? But 3 times is, my god. Alright, he didn't win yet, but it's starting to look like it, yeah? Yeah. Dude, Manish, there is no such thing as Jabava London versus Dutch. It's just Dutch, okay? It's just Dutch defense. There is no Jabava London. Alright. What do you mean? Karpov was the champion, Gary was the challenger. Dude, what are you talking about? You mean after Gary beat him? No. Okay, it's a loaded topic actually. It's a loaded topic, yeah. Because they had match revanches or something. It's absolutely crazy, man. I don't want to go into that. Yeah, that was like whole politics things. All right, guys. I'm pretty tired. It's almost 1 o'clock at night. I'll do the recap tomorrow. I'll post it on YouTube, and I'll post this Simul also. All right. So thank you for coming. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and enjoy the current candidates. It's really a great, amazing event. A lot of drama, yeah. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.